Christianity is built on a lie so big that it completely rewrites history, misquotes scripture, and fabricates prophecy. The truth is simple. Jesus was not the Messiah. Not only did he fail to fulfill the requirements, but his followers had to change what Messiah even meant just to keep their movement alive. In this video, we're going to break it all down. We'll expose how the Gospels twisted Jewish scripture, invented fake prophecies, and rewrote history to sell Jesus as something he never was. If you're ready for the uncomfortable truth, let's get started. Chapter 1. What is a prophecy? A real prophecy is not a vague statement that can be interpreted in 100 different ways. A real prophecy must have three things. 1. A clear prediction. It must specifically describe what will happen. 2. A clear time frame. It must say when it will happen. 3. A clear fulfillment. The event must actually happen, as described, in a way that anyone can verify. If a prophecy doesn't meet these criteria, it's worthless. It's just someone guessing, or worse, someone making things up. But here's the problem. Christianity claims that Jesus fulfilled prophecy. The reality? The New Testament takes verses out of context, misquotes scripture, and even fabricates prophecy entirely. Let's start with the biggest problem of all. Jesus never even met the basic requirements of the Messiah. Chapter 2. What the Messiah was supposed to do. The Jewish scriptures describe very specific things the Messiah would accomplish. Here are the big ones. The Messiah would be a king from David's bloodline. Jeremiah 33:15-17. He would restore the Jewish people to their homeland. Isaiah Jemsa bless, Leah would do a blessmany. He would bring world peace, nations would stop warring and follow God. Isaiah dua bunding and pop. He would lead all nations to worship the one true God. Zechariah and pop bless bonding sambila. These are real-world, observable events, things that everyone would see happening. And here is the truth. Jesus did none of these things. Not one. He wasn't a king. He never ruled anything. He didn't restore Israel. In fact, after his death, the Jews were exiled even further. He didn't bring world peace. Rome kept conquering. Wars never stopped. The world didn't turn to one God. Most people kept worshiping their own deities. So what did Jesus' followers do? Instead of admitting he wasn't the Messiah, they rewrote the concept to fit his failure. Chapter 3. How Christianity redefined the Messiah. When Jesus didn't do what the Messiah was supposed to do, his followers had a problem. They could admit they were wrong, or they could move the goalposts. And that's exactly what they did. Instead of a real king, they said Jesus was a spiritual king. Instead of actual world peace, they said he brought peace in people's hearts. Instead of restoring Israel, they said the church replaced Israel. And instead of admitting he failed, they said he would come back later to finish the job. This is not how prophecy works. You don't get to change the meaning of a prophecy after the fact to make it fit. That's excuse making, not proof. But it gets worse. Because not only did they change the idea of the Messiah, they faked prophecy fulfillment to make Jesus fit their story. Chapter 4. How the Gospels lied about prophecy. The New Testament is filled with false claims about prophecy. Let's look at some of the worst ones. 1. The virgin birth. A mistranslation. Matthew 1:22-23 claims that Jesus, virgin birth, fulfilled Isaiah 7:14. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. Problem? This verse wasn't about Jesus. It wasn't even about the Messiah. In its original context, it referred to a child born in Isaiah's time, long before Jesus. And worse, the original Hebrew doesn't even say virgin. It says young woman. Matthew misquoted scripture to make it seem like a prophecy about Jesus. 2. Out of Egypt I called my son. A historical statement, not a prophecy. Matthew 2:15 claims Jesus' family fleeing to Egypt fulfilled Hosea 11:1. Out of Egypt I called my son. But this verse wasn't a prophecy. At all, it was talking about the Exodus, when God brought the Israelites out of Egypt. Matthew ripped a historical event out of context and pretended it was a prophecy. This is blatant deception. 3. The Nazareth prophecy that doesn't exist. Matthew 2:23 says Jesus fulfilled prophecy by living in Nazareth. He shall be called a Nazarene. Problem? No such prophecy exists. There is nothing in the Old Testament that says the Messiah would come from Nazareth. Matthew literally made up a prophecy for Isaiah 53, not about Jesus. Christians claim Isaiah 53 predicts Jesus' suffering and death. But Isaiah 53 is talking about Israel as a nation, not a future Messiah. Nowhere does Isaiah say the Messiah would die for sins. Another Christian misinterpretation. So what does all of this mean? It means that Christianity is built on lies about prophecy. Jesus wasn't the Messiah. He didn't fulfill the requirements. And when his followers realized this, they twisted Jewish scripture to make it seem like he did. If Jesus really fulfilled prophecy, why did his followers have to misquote, misinterpret, and outright invent prophecies to prove it? The answer is simple: because he didn't. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep thinking critically.